Day 53. Hey everybody, welcome to Take 5. Here we are for 5 more minutes of devotion, 5 minutes a day, and it is a good day. We're reading out of John 11 and Psalm 53. We're discussing the raising of Lazarus. Verse 35 in John 11, and Jesus wept. There were people who were standing nearby that said, "See how much he loved him." But some said, "This man healed the blind man. Couldn't he have kept Lazarus from dying?" Jesus was still angry. As he arrived at the tomb, a cave with a stone rolled across the entrance. "Roll the stone aside," Jesus told them. But Martha, the dead man's sister, protested and said, "Lord, he's been dead for 4 days. The smell will be terrible." Jesus responded, "Didn't I tell you that you would see God's glory if you believe?" So they rolled the stone aside. And then Jesus looked up to heaven and said, "Father, I thank you for hearing me. You always hear me, but I said it out loud for the sake of all these people standing here so that they will believe that you sent me." And then Jesus shouted, "Lazarus, come forth!" And the dead man came out, his hands and feet bound in grave clothes, his face wrapped in a headcloth. Jesus told them, "Unwrap him and let him loose."
Yes, amen. Unwrap him and let him loose. I love that. I think, we're familiar with these verses and we really focus kind of on what happened uh, with the miracle, but some of the things surrounding this story is that Lazarus's raising really caused some concerns for the Jewish leaders because the Passover coming, it brought a high tension to Jerusalem. Crowds of people just thronged the city, and legions of Roman soldiers just converged in one place. And if things got out of hand, it was going to be bad. According to the writings of Josephus, a historian, the Jews faced a bloodbath if there was a political uprising. So what, and who was going to be held responsible? The chief priest was going to be held responsible. So Caiaphas was really afraid that the people might try to make Jesus king. He just raised this dude from the dead, and that the Roman response was going to be vicious. And that's why if we actually look ahead and we hear the words, "It's better that one might die," talking about Jesus, we kind of understand Caiaphas' framework. It wasn't necessarily all evil and hating on Jesus, but it was his responsibility to protect all the people from a vicious Roman bloodbath. A little context brings a lot of understanding.
It's a little bit far removed from our understanding. I don't think that we really could grasp what was all happening politically. I mean, mostly we just read these Bible stories and we read them in quick succession, like what happens next, and we only get this little window. It's kind of nice to have this deeper understanding with archaeology and historians who are filling in some of these gaps.
Yes.
It would be so easy to believe that Caiaphas was just like all the other leaders who just hated Jesus. They saw the threat in him. But there's actually a little bit of humanity here, that he's fearing for the people because he has a greater understanding of the political implications. And Jesus knew it all too. I mean, he's God after all. But he still chose to he followed his mission regardless of the fact that he knew this set of chain reactions was going to go off the minute he did it.
Right. When you think about what's happening here and all the different dynamics and facets of it, it makes you think about Joseph standing in the Pharaoh's palace, and what others meant for evil, God meant for good. We hear the high priest, and he didn't seem so noble in the way he was treating Jesus, but in other readings, but what the people meant to preserve their own life or whatever. Let's take this guy. What people meant for evil, God turned it and used it for the actual ultimate good. And so that's would be my question today. What is something that seemed to be evil, something that was inflicted maybe in your life or mine, but you can look back now and say, it was meant for evil, but God turned it around for good. Can you think of anything, Sister McCoy?
I don't know about that, but I do, the more I think about this as you're talking, I think about the fact that Jesus chose specific places, specific times, specific scenarios. He showed up when the woman was discovered in adultery and he walked over and he drew in the sand. Like there were so many specific times that he had influence because of why and where it happened. Raising the dead is not one of the easier miracles to fake. If you're going to put the mud in the guy's eye and be like, oh, he can see. Oh, their back pain disappeared. I don't know. Oh, the headache. So this is unbelievable. And when he says, open that tomb, it should have I'm sure it just reached when they rolled that stone back. We were just, I was talking about my flowers smelling bad in the room because there's a little decay in some of the leaves. You got a whole dead body in there. We have to be aware of God's choice of timing and wherever he's put you, whatever he's done in your life right now in this moment, you think, well, man, this is just kind of weird timing. No, it's not. It's God's intentional plan. And he knows exactly the chain reaction he's about to set off in all the people around you. How about you guys out there? Tell us your thoughts. Put it in the comments. What is God trying to do through your life in your specific circumstances and your specific people right now? God bless you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.